when I reflect back over my youthful days, there were 10 minutes that could have literally cost me my life. And so, yeah, you can change your world quickly by ignorance and foolishness. And so this is just a way to minimize the foolishness so that when you're changing your world, you're doing it in a more wise effort.
Welcome to the Up Your Average podcast, where Keith and Doug give no-nonsense advice to level up your life. So buckle up and listen closely to Up Your Average.
Good morning, Doug.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
It's a beautiful day in Carmel, Indiana.
I just love summertime. It's the best. Shreve kids have, I think, one more week until public schools start. Maybe your school near you has already started. It's crazy. Summer goes by too fast.
I consider myself an optimist, but I got to admit, I don't envy these kids going back to school. Feels like it's just the beginning of the summer to me, and they're going back to school. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, they know what it means. They are not excited.
Yeah, I never was. I was an angry little boy. What was that?
Man.
You're an angry elf. That was me.
Right.
Yeah, I hate that. Man, it's got to be difficult for boys to go to school. I know we're not supposed to differentiate, but I just think boys learn differently than young girls, and taking them off the lake and putting them in a classroom, I can't even imagine what that's like for them.
Well, it's just hard to sit still. I mean, I think anybody, it's just hard to sit still for 60, 90 minutes. And having my wife as a public school teacher, you get to hear all the shenanigans and squirreliness of kids. But I will tell you, the school year does bring a lot of great friendships. This is me putting on my rosy glasses here, Keith, but it does bring a lot of opportunities for friendships and connections, maybe even some learning, maybe some hard lessons. Maybe you don't make the basketball team. You're the last one cut. But these are all great experiences in this great thing that we call life. And so in probably 20 years, those 7th and 8th graders will be running our retirement portfolios.
That's crazy to think, isn't it?
It's pretty great. I am excited about the generation ahead of us.
Well, I sent you a number of topics to address today, and this is the moment where I break to let everybody know that this is Gimbal Financial. We are your advocates in helping you manage your resources, and we'd love to have new clients. So don't be afraid to pass this on to others and give us a call at 317-578-1600, and we will be back to you.
Does anybody call anymore? I mean, does our phone ever ring? I get more emails or drive-bys. We'll have to ask Amanda if the 578-1600 ever rings.
How do they reach us then if they're wanting to do business with Gimbal Financial? What would you tell them?
I think the best way is to get on the website, have a look, and then reach out to an email. That's probably the best way to do it.
Man, I think I can't.
You could fax us. You could fax us your net worth statement.
I personally can't think of a better financial advising firm to do business with, but maybe I'm biased. So today, you picked the topic. I gave you a number of topics that made sense. Next week, we're going to talk about confirmation bias. But today, we decided to talk about change your world in 10 minutes today. And the idea stems from what you've said about me over the years. You said I'm a consistent person, but I think anybody can be consistent. It's not difficult to be consistent. You just have to choose that's what you're going to do. So if you choose, I'm going to take 10 minutes a day and do something, how could you change your world? And my guess is a lot of us can reclaim 10. That was a beautiful woman there. A lot of us,
Connie.
a lot of us, a lot of us could claim 10 minutes back in our day without much problem. And there's a there's a saying: if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person, because somebody who's busy and is getting things done they have a tendency of valuing their time, and they realize a 10-minute span can do a lot. And so, two words in the title: change your world in 10 minutes today. Your world is going to get smaller with time, and the things you choose to invest 10 minutes in could keep your world expanded longer than you expect. So that's part of the world thing I want to throw out there. And today addresses kind of what you said in one of the most recent ones about procrastination isn't change your world tomorrow, it's change your world today. So whatever you think you could do, today's the day to do it. Whatever, give it the first 10 minutes today and see how it goes.
I read today's topic different, not too different, but this is how I heard it. What can you do with 10 minutes today that will change your world? And so when you sent that over, I just instantly liked that. And what could you do with 10 minutes today? Well, I started to think of all this stuff and all these actions. And then my sarcastic side of my brain started to think, what could you do with 10 minutes to change your world? You could do a lot of wrong things today that would really jeopardize your world. And I kind of had fun thinking about those things by myself, and we don't need to get those out on air, but it's a great question. And what can you do with 10 minutes today that will change your world? I was at the coffee shop in North Webster, Indiana, preparing for the day. And I said no to the family. The family was all out skiing early this morning, and it was a little bittersweet. I thought, man, I'd really like to be with them. I need to prep for this podcast. But here's the deal: the prepping for this podcast um, is one of the greatest joys of my life, because oftentimes I hear from you, and people will say, "Hey, I listened to that one. I enjoyed that one," or "you guys made me think about this," or "I like what Keith had to say about that." And so sometimes taking action means saying no to your family. It might be saying no to a role that you have, and you just got to do some stuff. So shout out to my new friend Ron from North Webster, Indiana. I was sitting by him and I said, "Hey, I got a question for you." And I don't know this guy at all. I said, "What can you do with 10 minutes today that will change your world?" And he was going to be my show prep. And Ron, super cool guy. Ron says to me, "Oh, that's easy. Are you familiar with Gary Vee?" I was like, "I've heard of Gary Vee." I had to search him up on Claude later. But he said, "You just got to take action. You got to pick something and you got to take action." And from what I could tell from Claude, Gary Vee would have said something like this: uh, have patience for the long game and urgency for today's actions. And
Man,
so those go hand in hand, by the way, because you have to have a vision. And Keith, you were sending me some Zig Ziglar stuff. You got to have a vision first. If you've got a vision, if you've got a purpose, then maybe the best thing to do as far as taking action goes is to say, well, what would I do with 10 minutes? And can I tell you what I decided to do, Keith?
what'd you decide?
I thought, well, okay, I got 10 minutes right now. I'll tear this out. And so I set my iPhone stopwatch to 10 minutes. I said, okay, let's go. I got 10 minutes. And I wrote down all this stuff on this page of paper, and I had 36 seconds left when I got to right there on the end. And so I just took 10 minutes and I said, I'm going to just start writing something down. I don't even know what I'm going to write. And I wrote down why I'm grateful for the month of July. Took me 10 minutes. And what that has done for me this morning is made me see my morning a little differently, because I recounted all these great things about the month of July. And There are so many things that you could do with 10 minutes. I wrote down a ton of those too. But I think the first thing you can do is just pause and say, all right, I got 10 minutes. What am I going to do with it?
How cool is that? That is, I think just, it probably goes back to a lot of Ben Franklin's teaching about, the time and the value of time and prioritizing things. And as for me, it occurred to me two skills that probably aren't very well maintained in our culture today are reading and writing. And so in 10 minutes, this is a very complicated book. Like to read this book is very complicated. So it's not like you just sit down and read it for an hour. You might, but you're not going to grasp it. But this book I can read in 10-minute increments and let it hit my brain. So in 10 minutes of reading, I'm improving my skills. And so our clients get a better Keith by me taking 10 minutes and hanging out with this guy. So that's reading. And then writing, I give each of my kids one of these letter journals for their 16th birthday. And I write my opinions and thoughts about things for them. And each page takes 10 minutes. And so 5 kids times 190 pages times 10 minutes, that's a lot of writing. And I've got 4 other kids now, so I'm in the process of working on those 4. And those have been very important, I think, a way to communicate ideas, but they've only happened 10 minutes at a time. And you would think you would never get this thing filled, but if you just keep chugging along at it, you get there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 minutes. What could you do with 10 minutes to change your world? I think there's a lot you can do. Caroline and I went on a walk last night, and it was more than 10 minutes. Normally, it's probably 30 minutes. But just getting outside and going for a walk, we met some new neighbors up here who are just awesome people. And that's something you can do with 10 minutes. There's something you can do with your physical fitness in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And just standing up and banging out some push-ups or some sit-ups, you can knock that out in 10 minutes.
It really, that was one of the things I wrote down, Doug, is that one of the guys I watch says to do 10 air squats every hour. And so it doesn't take you 10 minutes to do 10 air squats, but that's 10 minutes within your day, right? And so like I think I might have said in the past that I couldn't run in my 40s. I didn't think I could. So I had to, this is the same kind of idea. If I just started running as far as I could in 10 minutes, then it would change the direction of my physical fitness.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the idea of 10 minutes. I mean, everybody has 10 minutes today. Even if you're working in a factory, you've got 10 minutes today. And it might start at the beginning of the day, it might start at the end of the day, or even during your lunch break. I know something that I do every Monday morning, and it's probably no more than 10 minutes, is I just write down what are my roles in my life and what am I trying to accomplish with those roles this week. And that's normally over a cup of coffee. I do it at a local coffee shop. This morning I was prepping at a local coffee shop. When you get away from your house or your office and go to some place that's just, it's a different location, I think it helps open your mind and your creativity. And I would encourage folks that if you're looking to start your 10 minutes, you might consider even starting it at a local coffee shop. Starbucks is okay, but one that's got a little bit more local flavor to it.
And like where I start my days, most days, I kind of feel like I've almost become kind of the pastor of that location or whatever, that the workers come in and, ask me about certain life issues and things. And then I realized one of them came up to me and he kept saying, "Are you busy?" And I would kept telling him, "No, come on, whatever." And then finally it occurred to me, is like, Yes, I am busy actually. And so I told him, I'll say, hey, Geronimo, I am busy, but I'm never too busy for you. So have a seat. But like, don't ask me that question because if what I said earlier, a busy person can always get something done, but a busy person that manages their time doesn't always look busy. But that's not the case.
Well, you've got a vision. Yeah,
Yeah,
your vision is to help people be a part of your community, and so you're showing up. That your long term vision is you've got stuff going on, but the action items of the day are exactly like that. Is for this guy to hang out with you. I mean, that's why you go there, right?
yeah. Well, and so I got a kind letter the other day from a fellow named Jordan, and he commented on a letter I'd sent him a long time ago, maybe a decade, I don't know. And uh, he was talking about how it occurred to him writing people was probably a good thing after I wrote him a letter. And uh, I I wrote in there as I began this effort, stamps, paper, and envelopes disappeared. And I said, God stirred a man in the printing business to supply all of my paper needs as his ministry to me. Um, so all the coolness of having my own letterhead was a function of just taking my 10 minutes to write somebody a letter and doing that on a consistent basis. And somebody recognized, oh, he sends a lot of letters out. And so it gave somebody an opportunity to use 10 minutes of their life to help me, if that makes sense. And the
Yeah.
person on this particular 10-minute thing that when I was reflecting on it was a guy named Nick Murray. And Nick Murray said, a good way to have a good attitude is to write somebody every day. And I didn't understand the significance of that at the time. However, I do now. And the irony, I can't even tell you how many pieces of paper with my name on it have gone out with the stamp, but I would bet it's thousands and thousands of dollars of stamps over the years. But one letter can't take 10 minutes. And so
Man,
you can change somebody else's view by 10 minutes in a letter.
yeah, that's awesome. Nick Murray, tribute to Nick Murray. He is the guy. Like in the 90s, I read his book and it's still sitting on my desk today.
Well, I couldn't I couldn't pull up his name, so I had to get some AI help to get his name back in my thought process. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's incredible. Man, I've been spending more and more time with AI, Keith, and I think I told you. Did I tell you that I talk to Claude now?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I just started this within the last 2 weeks, where I'll talk to Claude, and I noticed something today. I have purposely tried not to use pronouns when I'm addressing Claude, because Claude is some type of technology, and I don't want to give it the respect of a person. My friends tell me that's going to come back and kill me later, because I wasn't kind to Claude. But today
Claude says, "Kill Doug."
I did something today that after I said it, I was like, oh no. I called Claude. I said, thanks, buddy. And as soon as I said thanks, buddy, I was like, "Oh no, I'm now like counting Claude as my friend. What is wrong with me? I need to get out and hang out with more humans."
I love it. Well, this is my most recent Bible here. And if you pop this thing right about in the middle, you end up in the book of Proverbs. And there are 31 Proverbs, and most months have 31 days. So if every day you just picked the proverb of the day, I'm guessing you can read it in 10 minutes or less. And if you do that consistently, I guarantee you, I can't guarantee you much, that your wisdom will expand, your ability to see the world in a better version. Um, what did you say? Rose-colored glasses a while ago, Doug. Your ability to see the world better will improve. So that's a 10-minute life hack that I'd throw out there over and over, no matter who you are.
Yeah, it was that Zig Ziglar message that you send me. Our podcast is like 92 hours long. He said, better to have rose colored glasses than woes colored glasses. Thought that was pretty good.
It's it's
And
really easy.
Proverbs will allow you to have some realistic glasses because there's just some good stuff in there. There's some good stuff in there early on, like right out of the gates, that's going to cover this 10-minute thing because there's some stuff in there that they say, hey, if you do this in your life, you're inviting a lot of trouble into your world. And so there's just a couple key pointers where don't spend your 10 minutes doing a couple of those things.
Well, when you're talking about 10 minutes could change your world, the ignorant, and it talks about that a lot, the ignorance of your youth. Like when I reflect back over my youthful days, there were 10 minutes that could have literally cost me my
Oh,
life. And so,
yeah.
yeah, you can change your world quickly by ignorance and foolishness. And so this is just a way to minimize the foolishness so that when you're changing your world, you're doing it in a more wise effort.
Well, maybe in 10 minutes, you give yourself a little bit of grace at recognizing, hey, I didn't know what I didn't know. I was stupid or whatever. Or maybe you're lamenting something or you're mourning something that time has gone by. And maybe through some pause and a 10-minute reflection and some prayer, you're able to change. The Lord's able to change something inside of you that you wish you could take back or have a do-over. And that 10 minutes of just quiet listening, you could go on a walk and do it, or you could get into Proverbs and do it. You could go on just sit at the end of your bed for 10 minutes. But but that 10 minutes could make a difference in your past as well.
Yeah. I know that pivotal moments in life might happen in 10 minutes. Like something that could revolutionize your life might happen that quickly. And the effort to be intentional with your time rather than let it just kind of go away by flipping on your phone or whatever is just a small shift in the way that you live. And one of the 10-minute activities I do consistently is phone a friend. And I'm of the belief that most friendships just kind of dwindle away. There wasn't an argument or anything like that. Busyness weeds people out of your life because you have your family and other things coming in. And just to take time every day, I do a scroll on my phone. I'll pull up my contacts and hit a scroll and go, I haven't talked to them for a while, and I'll give them a call. And that kind of fits into the book I mentioned years ago called the Balcony People, and I want to be a cheerleader in people's lives, and so taking the time to realize that there's probably a lot of loneliness out there that you're not aware of, and you don't even know who it might be, but taking time to say, I haven't talked to this person in a while, I'm going to give them a 10-minute call. Who knows what kind of revolutionary thing that might be in their lives. But a common thing that just makes me roll my eyes is when I hear somebody say, the phone goes both ways. I'm like, it does, but it's not that complicated, right? Like it doesn't, what's it matter who pushes the call button, right? It doesn't matter.
I got one of those calls from a friend just yesterday, a little after 4 o'clock, and he was calling really for no purpose other than to hear my voice and have a conversation. There was no agenda, there was no script, and it was just really refreshing.
Yeah. And I do know as well that 10 minutes often will go longer if I prioritize my friends from oldest to youngest. The older friends will appreciate my phone call. Not that the young ones don't, but there's definitely much more energy going to the older friends in my list there, and it's a mutual benefit. But I do love my young friends as well.
Well, and it's also, like my kids don't have voicemails. Yeah, maybe my oldest does, but the other ones don't. And so, no, my younger kids, they just don't use a phone like I use a phone, or maybe like my parents use a phone. They use it, but they use it differently. So it's coming to their level. That's really important.
Man, that's really cool. When I
One of my
mentioned,
friends, one of my friends sends his daughters a snap a day. I don't even have Snapchat, but I appreciate that he's gotten on their level And he has like this snap consistency streak with his daughters where they look forward to it every day. And I think that's pretty cool.
And well, that was one of the other 10-minute things that can change your world that I had. I wrote down improve your skills. And and there's a lot of ways you can improve your skills no matter what your age is. And I was just thinking the Khan Academy is online and they can teach you about anything you need to know intellectually, I think. But like I have an action on my calendar regularly to spend 10 minutes learning to be more astute at AI. And and so like you could be 80 years old and not know anything about AI, but AI will teach you to learn about AI. And so you can learn something no matter where you are that makes you more relevant to your world, just like you said with Snapchat or whatever.
Saying, they'll be your buddy. Watch out.
Well, I am thankful for this topic and this conversation, and it's really helpful for me to not slide into apathy with my time and not to ignore the value of others and how to use it to benefit them. So I appreciate this conversation, Doug.
10 minutes can change your world.
And
Can change the world.
so we are stopping 5 minutes early. We're giving you half of that time right now, and we'll see you guys next week. Doug, have a great weekend.